Today I'm joined by the chairman, Andrew Bell of Regency Mining. The market cap on this entity is £4 million, and on the website the headline is Regency Mine seeks to create shareholder value via strategic management of its hydrocarbon battery metal and energy storage technology portfolio. Andrew, Happy New Year to you and your family.
Happy New Year to you too.
Right, we have a list of questions from the Share Talk listeners, viewers, etc., etc. I've got five that look very interesting questions to me. Without further ado, I'm going to kick off. The first question, can you give us the highlights from this week's business update from Regency, please?
Yeah, in 2011 we entered a recession in the mining sector, and we entered it on rather disadvantageous terms because we had been drilling to get a maiden resource at the giant Mambare nickel cobalt project in Papua New Guinea. Our partner had run out of money. We covered their spend rather than see the program abort and no resource, and we borrowed to do it. We only got clear from under this, the residue of that borrowing with this financing now. So we're debt-free for the first time since the recession began. That's one thing. We got rid of Yorkville, which worried some shareholders because they thought they might convert and sell the shares. Those are two key things. But when you add together this financing with the sale of Horse Hill, money coming in from that, with our existing cash position, we're actually in a very strong financial situation, which I think comes out from the announcements.
So the second question the viewers have asked, at the AGM on the 29th of December, when discussing your Mambare project, you mentioned potential partners needed to progress the project. How, and indeed, have you got anywhere in mind, and can you expand at all on the progress?
Yeah, I mean, because we have a project there that if you take Friedland's project in clean tech in Australia, he's got 2/3 the grade, 2/3 the size. I mean, 2/3 the grade, for heaven's sake. And we've only explored 3% of our plateau and already have one of the biggest nickel cobalt resources in the world. It's clear what we have is a giant, and it's on the slopes facing China too in Papua New Guinea. Now, he's got clean tech by promoting it, I'd say rebranding it as a clean energy company to an $800–900 million capitalization. That means it's very easy for him to finance the progressing of that project. With our very small capitalization, it's difficult for us to do that. So we have to work on some mixture of getting our price up and promoting the project and rebranding it and bringing in a strong partner. For example, if we got in a Chinese partner, they could probably do the work very quickly and very cheaply to put in the necessary infrastructure. But we're not restricting ourselves just to Chinese partners. We are starting to look at that quite seriously, having discussions already.
Okay, let's move on to question number 3 then. How soon will we see drilling at the nickel cobalt mine in Mambare?
Well, I think because our drills there, which are auger drills, because that's really all you need, have been sitting there now for several years unused. First thing to do is to get some maintenance on them and to see what parts we need. So I think the initial work we do there, which will be much cheaper and much easier because of cloud cover and need for helicopter support, is we will probably do some more ground penetrating radar on the plateau. And get some more lines there. Because when we got the resource before, we were able to integrate the very high quality ground penetrating radar work we did with the drilling to get a result. And so now we feel quite comfortable with the ground penetrating radar as a means of identifying the presence of nickel and cobalt in saprolite and limonite.
Understood.
So that'll probably come first.
Right. So in terms
and we may also reinterpret some of the old GPR because they've had another 5 or 6 years to tweak the algorithms.
Right. Okay, well, let's move on to question number 4. What price did we pay, asks a shareholder, for Curzon shares? And you're assuming the average was below 10 pence as Regency invested pre-IPO.
Yeah, I mean, I think we come in 7 or 8% below the 10 pence overall. So we're looking okay now. And from here on, we're in profit.
Okay, and the final question from the shareholders, okay, and in brackets, it's got a serious question here. Will RGM investors get a percentage discount on White Car, the Tesla Heathrow hire, as loyal shareholders? And why did you invest in this?
Well, as part of our rebranding on the basis of what cleantech have done, we created STech because of the rules of AIM about changing your business line and the class tests and so on. We're a little restricted in what we can do there. We did take in the investment in White Car. In the past, some of our investments have enabled us to generate cash flow or realize profits as we go along, because we have one huge, super big project, Mambari, that we have held on to through the longest bear market in nickel history that I can remember. I mean, the nickel bear market has lasted 2 or 3 years longer than any other major metal. And we have hung on to that fantastic asset and have come out the other side with the cobalt price up, nickel price going up, the identification with electric battery needs. But it still remains a project that will take some time to generate cash flow. In the meantime, we have to do other stuff. And at the same time, we have to rebrand what we're doing as battery metals, and therefore an answer to the future's problems. So STech is part of that. We made the investment in White Car. I don't think that every shareholder can get a discount, but they are having an investor day on the 1st of February, and anybody who's interested in attending and getting presentations on their plans for the next year, and who knows, maybe negotiating their discount, is very welcome to drop me a line and I'll get them invited. That'll be at Heathrow on the 1st.
Okay.
The other thing I should say about STech is we are looking to get it listed independently, probably on NEX, maybe later a standard listing, and we think we can do that very quickly, a matter of weeks.
Right. So I've got a question. Okay, I had a quick look through company numbers and etc. I noticed that some warrants could be issued based on if the VWAP remained above 3.5 pence for 10 days on a row. And my question as a potential investor, okay, any chance of that happening in 2018?
Well, look, I think we've got quite a number of warrants out there. Once our price gets much above a penny, people will start to exercise them. That could bring us in, easily another £1.5 million, quite easily. If we get a price above 2.5p, 3.5p, then what we have the right to do is to call the warrants. In other words, to force people to convert or let them lapse. So it would be nice to be in that position. We'd certainly like to see our price up there. I don't think I can venture a forecast as to what the price is going to be.